Hey guys, I know
Hello.
we're just starting. Come on in. We're not gonna wait too much. You guys can, just watch it whenever you have time. But we decided to go ahead and do an after show. We want to see if you hated it or loved it, and we just kind of want to clarify some things concerning last night's show. So, Twinkle, do you want to?
Sure. I definitely just wanted to start with the fact that we never do an after show. We're not going to do an after show every time. We just felt the need to do an after show simply because last night's episode was our very first extremely controversial episode. So we have guests come onto our show, as you guys have seen in season 2, and it's been a great time having our guests on. We'll continue to have guests on, and we allow our guests to speak their opinions and their perspectives as well. Being that this is the perspective and we are the ladies of the perspective, we thought it was extremely important for you to know where we stand on controversial issues especially. And if you've watched our show for a period of time, you know for sure that all of us have different perspectives.
Right.
Yes, none of us are just alike. So you may hate my perspective but love her perspective and be indifferent about somebody else's perspective. But we definitely wanted to put it out there. So of course, join in on the conversation as usual. There was just specific things we wanted to address from last night's episode individually. We had things to say.
Well, first I want to start with what this show is all about.
Yes.
If you go to our page and you read our About Us, you can see it there. But let me just go ahead and read it now. The Perspective is designed to give viewers an up-close and personal look into the minds of pastors' kids based off their personal experiences, distinctive views, and honest opinions of occurrences in today's society and in the church. So, with that being said, we are not on here to debate the Bible or to give you what you will get on a Sunday morning at your church. There's only one ordained minister on here, and so Lexi, who is back with us today.
Say hi to Lexi, guys.
I know, say hi to Lexi. So we don't want to get that confused with what our purpose of the show is. We are just on here giving our perspective. This isn't, the biblical points of view. This is, we do have biblical points of view because of how we were raised.
Sometimes.
But at the end of the day, this is just our perspective. So let's just make that part clear. Okay?
Okay, definitely one thing I wanted to start with Lexi. Lexi was absent yesterday, but even when she's absent, she's a part of the perspective, so she's still here. So one thing I just wanted to make clear with Lexi is that she, very important member of this group, just as the rest of us. We joke and play a lot with Lexi because she's the youngest, so it's easy. She's the little sister and little cousin. Lexi, one thing that was true that was said, she does eat all the time. And she likes
always hungry.
All the time.
She's hungry every 20
minutes.
Yeah,
every 20 minutes.
I think we all have been difficult at times to work with, to be totally honest.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I know I have been, okay?
I ain't just kidding.
We're all women, okay? Let's just be honest for a second. But Lexi is definitely a pleasure to work with, and we all have joking personalities. And I know that our guest yesterday, he has a very comedic personality, different type of humor, but we're used to it. So I don't want anybody to take that fully seriously, that Lexi's hard to work with.
I'm really not.
Or always, she's on time to church every Sunday. I'm the one that's late to church every Sunday, but I'm working on it. Pray for me. But I just wanted to definitely address that. Book her for your makeup and book The Perspective.
I'm a minister at your church.
Yes. Is there anything? I didn't want to just keep talking.
I definitely wanted, because we did want to clarify some things, because I know that people were probably looking at me crazy because I made a comment saying that, I don't think it's bad for somebody to play in the church and in a club. And so I pretty much just kind of wanted to clarify that there are reasons why that I don't see anything wrong with it. I just think that, well, for one, we're told that we are in the world and not of the world. And to me, and this is my opinion, my perspective, to me, to be of the world is who you are and what's in your heart. And I don't believe that someone who is playing secular music at a venue for a job, for a living, I don't believe that they're going to hell for that. And again, that is my opinion. You have yours. I have mine. There are a lot of things that people agree with and disagree with concerning certain people and what they do and their jobs. And, you know, I don't judge them for that. And I just think that everybody has their own opinion and that they are entitled to that. So
Jason asked, how y'all gonna clear things up without me?
Well, this is the perspective.
This is the perspective. And pretty much Jason is the type of person that says, I said what I said.
Right.
And that's it. Like, I mean, we're not apologizing for anything. We just want to give you, a lot of people felt like they didn't hear our perspective on certain topics. And I went to go rewatch it, and I was like, well, no, we kind of chimed in there, you know, agreed and disagreed with a few things, but there are certain things that I know people was like, oh, you know, the musicians preying on the women in the church. Y'all, that's true. That's real life. Like my sister said, she's been a victim of it. I've been a victim of it, of musicians preying on us, feeling like they can get with us.
And,
you know
and even including that, let's get something straight here. We said we were talking about the stereotype of that, okay? It is a stereotype, to be honest. It is, whether you believe it or not, or whether you like it or not. It's a stereotype, and it's something that we choose to talk about. Now, I don't want it to come off or look like we are saying that this is happening everywhere and that every musician is this
or that
and
it's
it's okay.
We
don't condone that. So, and that's not what we were saying. But the fact of the matter is, it is a stereotype. Just like some people stereotype black men. There are certain groups of people who say all black men are thugs, or all black men are this, or all black men are that, just because a select few or a percentage of those men have done thuggish things or live a thuggish lifestyle. Some people will categorize all black men as such. And we all know that that's not true. And so I feel like when we were talking about stereotypes, we were talking about what people say and how people categorize them. But we do not believe that that is going on in every church and that all musicians are that way. So I wanted to clarify that as well. And we do not condone that type of behavior. Guys, it was just a topic.
We do read all the comments for sure. And I do think something that, shout out to my husband, he commented and he commented and he said that he likes the perspective because the perspective talks about real things and they're not scared to have real conversations. And that's what a talk show is about. We definitely want to generate conversation. We want to let you know where we stand, but this is why we go live, to be totally honest, because we want you to comment below. If you disagree, then we want you to comment on it and tell us why. Okay. And we're not going to condemn you for disagreeing. Right. Simply, you can hear our opinion, we can hear your opinion. We can grow from that. Not growing as far as like intellect, as if I'm wrong and you're right, or vice versa, but growing in knowledge, simply understanding why you think the way that you think, or just a different view other than our own.
Right.
So
because our opinions may or may not be right. We don't know. It's just our opinion. And a lot of times, there are things that need to be discussed that can't always be discussed in front of the pulpit.
Right.
Or from the pulpit. So we have a platform where we can discuss those controversial topics and get people's opinion and draw up some conversation, because there are somebody that's out there that's lost, that may be struggling or maybe as double-minded about playing in the club, which you shouldn't be, whatever, about playing in the club, and people need to educate them on it, or give them direction on where they can be educated about it. Like this is what this is for.
Right. So, go ahead, Lexi.
One thing I will say, because I wasn't here yesterday, but I did get a chance to kind of sit back and watch, which was very, it was nice for a week. But just one thing I wanted to clarify on, and I feel like it kind of wasn't talked about as much as I thought it could have been yesterday. And as a minister, I don't want someone to walk away feeling like the particular topic that I'm going to talk about was okay. When she just talked about double-mindedness. Now, the one of the comments that was said that I wanted to address was that if you don't feel convicted, then you're not double-minded in that situation. So what I would like
Sometimes killers don't feel convicted.
Exactly.
They're still wrong.
What I would like to say is what we're not saying is that, hey, you know, if you're living any kind of way and you know that you're not right with God and you know that you're living double-minded life, if you don't feel bad, then you're doing okay.
Oh yeah.
If
no.
you know
Yeah,
in
that's
your
not what
heart
it's
that
saying.
God is telling you you don't need to be doing the things that you're doing, or you don't need to you don't need to be doing the things that you're doing because you're living a double-minded life, then you need to take heed to what God is saying. That's not saying wait till you feel bad to stop what you're doing. But I hope that people didn't take that from that, because I don't believe that that's what they were trying to say. I know them as individuals. I believe and I hope that that's not what Jason was trying to say, because I've gotten to know him from working with him. But that's just something that I don't want somebody to take away is that, hey, you know, if I'm cheating on my wife, then if I don't feel bad, I'm going to keep cheating. That's not...
You gonna die.
That's
But
not what
if
we're
you
saying.
got any type of spiritual walk, if the Holy Spirit lives inside of you, you are going to be convicted of your wrongdoings. Like, the Holy Spirit is going to convict you. That's my opinion. I feel like the Holy Spirit will convict you of your wrongdoings if you're doing something that against the Word of God. If you're trying to live that Christian life. And then too, I want to reiterate too on the topic, because people had a lot of opinions about, like Alicia said, musicians playing in the church and also playing in the club. What people don't realize, every musician that play in the church do not proclaim to be saved or believers. They don't, and that's
That kind of is true.
Not every single person proclaims to be saved. We can't assume that.
And not everybody in the church is saved, but out of any of the positions in the church, I think all of the positions, out of all of them, I have always seen the musicians look at it more of a place of employment.
Right.
And I only say that because I see them go from church A to church B, sometimes to church C, and I know they're getting paid every time. Some of them, this is their primary income, so this is how they make their money. So, I know that a lot of them, some of them might simply have a gift and they play in the church. They're not necessarily saved, but this is going to be a check to support their family. So we can't just assume all of them are a member of that church and they are saved.
Right.
So it would make sense. I mean, they're going to play wherever they want. I totally respect everybody's opinion. My opinion is different from others. I personally think, one of our viewers commented to Myra on the video yesterday, and she said, playing in the church and the club is like a praise dancer being a stripper. And I was like, yes, I couldn't think of that yesterday. And I commented.
Unfortunately, I totally disagree.
But I mean,
that's just
me
my
as-
opinion.
me
I don't
as
think
a
that's
dancer,
it.
and I get that.
I agree
but
with
me
Myra.
as a dancer, I totally agreed with that. I couldn't praise dance in church and then be Diamond from the Players Club.
No, I agree with that. Now but I don't.
I mean,
I don't think a stripper and a musician.
It's just,
Like,
I mean, they both have a
different.
talent.
Yeah.
Dance is their talent, and playing an instrument is the other
It do
person's
take some talent to strip, so I heard.
I mean, they both have a talent, and so if you're a great dancer and you know how to move your body a certain way, maybe you even know ballet. Some of those are the best praise dancers because
So
they can
you
do
think
everything.
dancing in a bikini or a thong or whatever ain't no different than playing secular music? Because I can almost hold on. I can almost promise you, if my daddy, Pastor Eric Cobbins, right now comes downstairs and he's not here, but if he was here and he was to come downstairs and get on his keyboard and start playing and singing Luther Vandross to my mama, I'm pretty sure there might be a couple people who don't like that, but I'm pretty sure nobody is going to compare that to somebody taking their clothes off for money.
I think, like I said, the way I'm comparing it is as a
But
talent.
that's
You have
just
a
why-
talent to play, and I think if you do it for God or you do it for the devil.
Clapping them
Yeah,
cheeks.
Clapping
I
them
mean-
cheeks takes talent. Yeah,
I mean,
it
it's
does.
not, I'm not taking away from like anything you guys are saying. That's
Right.
just my perspective. I
Right,
feel
you're
like
entitled
if
to
you
that.
have that
Right.
talent for dance and you want to do that for the Lord, you can't do it for the Lord. And you didn't really touch me and bless me. And then I
Yeah.
heard that you was at Magic City. Like
I
that's
mean,
a problem
even
to
if
me.
you bring
To
it-
me.
Even if you bring it from the standpoint of, say, if your worship leader, she's, leading worship on Sundays, and she's like, your main worship leader, and then on Saturday night, she's the main event at the Juke House or whatever place that's like a club. Like, you would probably look at her a little different. Like, how are you up here doing all of this? But last
Probably
night,
depending on
you
what
was
she-
telling me
all that she's
to
involved in.
to do a little bit extra when I get home later on. Like, it's the same thing, whether they're a musician, whether they're a singer. Like, it doesn't.
But everybody has their own opinion. Just like some people think, like some church people, and not to, say who or to. Well, ain't nobody on here to bust out anyway that I can see. But like everybody just has their different opinions. Just like some people think it's okay, to drink. Some people do think that's okay, and some people don't. It's no different. I just feel like everybody has their own opinion and their own perspective on certain things, and everybody looks at it differently. And I feel like we're all entitled to have our own opinion.
I definitely want to come. I watched the video from the very beginning, so I can see when people are making live comments. And I know definitely at one point in the video, one of the commenters, I think I said, I'm sorry, my opinion is different from y'all. I said that in the video. I'm so sorry. My opinion is different from y'all's, but I just don't think that you should play in the church and play in the club. And that was just my opinion. And the person said, like, oh my, I can't believe she said that. I guess I'm going to hell. I definitely don't want you to think that I was condoning you to hell, because I'm not God. I can't put anybody in a heaven or hell.
Right.
If you be totally honest, nobody on this earth is free of sin. Nobody is perfect. I cannot put you in a heaven or hell. I gave my opinion on the perspective. I was not judging. I was giving my opinion. I'm not going to go in there and stand outside of the club and be like, church musicians shouldn't play. No, church musicians. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to put you in a heaven or hell, but I gave my opinion. And if we agree to disagree, that's great. This is generating conversation. But
perspective,
I definitely don't want you to feel like I'm saying in other words, you're going to hell. No.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I think one thing I wanted to hit on too, that from watching the video was very, very interesting. But just
I thought it was
It
hilarious.
was funny. Sorry, Jason
I
cracked
don't
me
know
up.
that word, but it was very
It was
interesting.
hilarious.
But I think in the beginning you guys were talking about, it was kind of like you guys were talking about serving the Lord or getting paid. And it was kind of like, if they say serve the Lord, that means don't. If they're asking you, are you doing it to serve the Lord? Then like, don't do it. But there are
I think
really,
he was saying they're asking you to just play for the Lord, meaning not get compensated.
yeah. But if there really are people out there that really do just want to serve the Lord and they want to play, if that's your desire and you just want to serve
fine.
the Lord
Yeah,
and you want to play, then by all means go ahead. And then two, like, I don't know, maybe I'm just indifferent because I don't think of it as like I don't know, maybe because I'm not a musician. Like, I don't think of it as like it. I have to.
Are, but
Yeah. like I have to get paid in order to serve the Lord. Or if you're not paying me, then I'm not going to serve Him. Like, I'm not going to do it if you're not going to pay me.
But there's different areas you can serve. You can serve the Lord. Like, it ain't just musician.
No,
Now,
I'm saying if somebody said, we're not paying, or okay, say if you were getting paid, and then they said, okay, for this period of time, we just can't pay you because of the season that the church is going in. Oh, well, then I'm just not going to do it. So then it would kind of make me, as myself, question, where's my commitment at in that serving? Was I serving or was I just trying to get paid?
some people are.
And
Some
some
people
people are
are
trying to get paid.
Yeah,
Some
some people
people
are
are.
playing in church as that is their place of employment. A church is a bit. People have to realize a church is a business. Okay, they employ people to do a service. So as musicians, they are employees of the church.
So that's not concerning. If your musician's like, I'm not going to touch the keys, I'm not going to do anything.
But that's his
if I'm
prerogative.
not getting paid.
And I mean, I can say everybody doesn't do it for like the Lord. Some people, it is a job. Me personally, I'm going to do it for.
But why
I do
is
a
that
lot of
sad?
things. Honestly,
That's sad to me that
But I mean, I'm not judging those people. That's
Right.
I'm
what
not
you wanna
judging them
do.
either. I'm just saying, in my opinion, that's sad. Maybe because I feel like if somebody, like, okay, when I go and minister at places, this is just my opinion too. If I'm going, I'm not going to get paid. I'm going to serve God. There's a lot of times where I'm walking out the door and people will be like, hey, wait, let me give you your love offering. And I will literally forget because I'm not there to get paid. Like, this is my God-given gift. Like, my gift is to share God's word. It's not to, God, I'm only going to share it if you pay me.
Sure.
So it's like, that's what I find. And that's my opinion. That's my perspective on it. That it's
And you're
sad
entitled to that. You're not
that
wrong for thinking like that
our
either.
commitment is based off of, oh, I'm not
Absolutely
gonna serve
not.
God, I'm not gonna get
right.
paid.
You're not wrong for that, and that's your prerogative. And I think that's what Jason was trying to say. As for him and people who are musicians, that is their only means of income, is them playing their instrument or singing or whatever. So when they go into the church, that is their place of employment. So if you're saying, oh, I can't pay you this Sunday, they thinking about, okay, I still got bills. I got to feed my kids. I got a family to take care of. I got a wife to take care of. You know what I'm saying? So if you can't pay me on Sunday, hey, I got to go find
But that's
somewhere to
them.
supplement their income. But
that's
like you said,
them.
yeah, that's them.
But that's them. Because I'm the same way. I wouldn't do it for the money either. And I don't believe that they should just do it for the
That's
money.
what
But
I'm
the truth of
saying.
the matter is, some people are
people
just
do.
doing it for the money.
Because that's their occupation. Like, if you list the occupation on the resume, I'm a musician. It's even like there are full-time musicians out here that are doing that. And I just want to share that, because musicians do get a lot of flack for saying I'm not playing for free. And we would just kind of want to shed some light on that, you know what I'm saying? Kind of talk about it. And this type of conversation, as you can see, we all probably have different opinions up here. This is what the perspective is for. We're here to draw up that conversation so it can be talked about.
Yeah, I mean, and that doesn't mean that I don't feel bad when I get love offerings.
Girl, you take them mugs. Because it's going to buy her some food. She be like, oh, I could get 22 cheeseburgers with this.
Take a minute right now. Please take a minute. Share this video. We definitely want people to hear our thoughts on this topic as we move on.
We want to
the
hear your
next
thoughts,
thing.
too.
Right.
Yes.
We are reading below, and we'll address things as we can. We kind of addressed how musicians view playing as a ministry in the church. As far as Whitney's question, one thing I definitely wanted to point out for sure, when we asked the questions about the stereotypes of musicians in the church being whores, that's this general stereotype that's out there. When we got into the conversation, I know there was a specific instance where there was a story of basically anybody that's on the stage, you're going to scan the audience, point out 5 to 10 people, because 2 of them will stick as far as women. Okay, said in a comedic way, and we know Jason, so I definitely don't think Jason was saying he was doing that. Right. I definitely don't believe that, but he was giving an example of a quote unquote whore that would be a musician in the church. Like, maybe that's the way that they think.
Some.
Yes, some. I definitely, the good part about the perspective is that I feel like we're shedding light on real things that are happening, and we're having real conversations. So for the conversation piece of that, I think it's important for us to speak on that, because in today's society, there are actually, outside of the church, a lot of allegations going on right now, as far as sexual misconduct, or people feeling as though they're sexually assaulted. This, to be totally real, can happen anywhere. From a church to a family, to a workplace, to the grocery store, the most public place. This can happen anywhere. So the fact that was brought up, I feel as though we need to address it. That, we definitely don't condone that.
Right.
I believe we've all have been victims of it at some point or another, feeling as though someone is preying on them in the church. Yeah. I definitely don't think that is not acceptable. Like he said, when you're one person in the church, you're not going to come into the church and be a different person all of a sudden. However, I know I can at least speak for my church for sure. that's not going to be tolerated because the church is not a
Right.
pond for you to fish in. The church is not a community center. If you're looking for somebody to get chose, then you should go to the club and start choosing. But in the church house, that's not what this is for. Like, this is a hospital. It's supposed to be a
Actually,
safe
the podium.
place. No, I'm
Right.
serious. It's
No,
supposed to be a
you're
safe
right, though.
place. So don't come in here disturbing other people's purpose for coming. People might come to the church because they feel like they're hurt. And maybe they're hurt from a past relationship. You come in the church and you're preying on them. That's a problem. Now they don't view the church as a safe place. Now they're not coming to the church anymore. So I don't think that's okay. I think that's something that men and women have to both look at, because all these allegations that are out there, if you make anybody feel sexually uncomfortable in any type of way, that is a sexual assault allegation waiting for you.
And I like
Even
that you
if
said
you're
that.
gazing and praying
Right.
on, if you're looking at me like I'm a piece of meat, I'm kind of scared for you to come within 10 feet of me, because I don't feel safe. I don't feel comfortable. So people that are doing that, please stop. Like that's not acceptable, and that
Well, I'm
shouldn't
glad
be
that you
acceptable.
said
in
that, but
church.
that's why I'm glad that we actually talked about it, because it doesn't get talked about in church at all. And a lot of people, some people know that it's going on and some people don't know that it's going on. But if we talk about it, then maybe we can find a way to kind of, I know we can't ever probably make it all stop,
Right.
but we can point it out, and it may, make people look stupid, when they try to be on the prowl like that in church. So I'm glad that we actually talked about this.
Me too. And the thing is, I want to say that we're going to continue to talk about controversial topics like this. This is not going to stop. So don't be shocked when we say something that's a little, a little edgy or whatever. And we're going to try to be mindful to give our perspective on it and make sure that we don't condone some bad behaviors, and then discuss it. That's all we want to do. We want to discuss it. We want to give you insight on the PK and stuff that we see in church, the good, the bad, and the ugly. That's what we want to do.
Yes. Does anybody else have any additional comments they wanted to address?
I'm not difficult to work with.
Okay. Well, I think that about wraps it up. Oh, one thing. Some people may have been a little uncomfortable with us using the word whore. Okay.
And we also apologize for the N-word being used. So
N-word. Some people are offended by the N-word. Some people go to their
Listen,
family's
it's
house and they hear it
Jason.
every other word.
Right.
My thing is, if you watch it on TV, you're watching it on reality TV shows and all that.
We're live. We can't control what anybody says. We try to control what we say.
You're not offended when they
but
say
we're not
it,
gonna be
then no,
edited.
yeah.
But definitely,
We're gonna give you the real.
I wanted to address the word whore because it's not a cuss word. It's not a bad word. We are all fully grown adults, and that is the politically correct term. Whether you wanted us to say
Garden
whore or
Jezebel?
Jezebel, harlot, garden tool, home wrecker,
Unstable
like,
creature.
unstable.
whatever you wanted us to say. I'm sorry. We're showing you the side of Preacher's Kids where we're not perfect, and we're not trying to be perfect. We definitely represent ourselves, our families. So we try to uphold our reputations, of course. But
we
we're
still- you
not
still
gonna
gonna
be.
get this real,
We're not
though.
gonna be your
still
perfect
gonna
version
get
of who
the-
you think we are. But we're trying to be the best we can for ourselves and for God.
Right.
Amen.
So
And you still gonna get this real.
yeah. But I think that's why
Especially
I
from
watch it.
this
Especially for me, because
Yes.
I'm not gonna sugarcoat nothing.
Yes. So we definitely thank you for tuning in. We thank you for tuning in week after week and your comments. As you can
Yes,
see,
thank you.
we read your comments. We respond to the comments down below. The ones we weren't able to get to tonight, we'll definitely respond to that as well.
And this was not a clapback.
This is
Not
not a
a
clap
clap
at
at
all.
all. Not a
No.
clap.
Clarification. Probably first and last, but clarification.
Yes.
And we definitely want you to tune in this Sunday. We will have another live episode, really good topic. So we want to tune
Controversial.
in. Yes. We definitely want you to tune in. We would love male and female opinions for this week's
Yes.
upcoming topic.
Yes.
7:00 p.m. Tune in. Thank you.
I also want to say I saw Jared with his hand up. He never said anything though, so we about to close out of here. But you go ahead and leave that comment on whatever you wanted to say, and we'll get back with you.
Jared is that kid in class that's gonna stand there with their hand
Right.
up. So it's time to take a bathroom break.
Pick on me.
Like,
Right.
Anyway,
that's our cousin.
yes.
All right,
We out,
thank you
y'all.
guys. Love you. Thanks for watching. And until next time, we'll see you again. Love you. Bye.
Holla.